Oftentimes it is so good to be greeted by your spouse when you get home from work.
Yes.
Unfortunately, other times, people feel differently. Hello, I'm Linnetta.
I'm Patrick.
And together we are co-founders of
Vertical Connections, Inc.
Thank you for joining us again.
Yes.
If you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. And also, everyone, click the like button and share this message.
Also, we greatly appreciate when you share comments, and we look forward to those in the future. Being able to inspire your spouse when you come home, or when they've been gone for the day, or you both have been out and doing your jobs, is so critical, because it makes no difference if we're entrepreneurs, if we have a two-income family or a single-income family. It's still important to make sure that we are inspiring our spouse.
Definitely. Some ways to do that. Give them time. Give them some time. Not time to mow the grass or time to clean the house or time in that matter, but time that should be spent compassionately.
I know that often we think about the fact that individuals just need a little bit of time to themselves. One of those things might be just to pick up their hobby and go ahead and do that. To go ahead and, hey, today I'll take care of the kids this afternoon. I know you had a busy day. If you want to stop and go for a walk or just enjoy some time by yourself for peace of mind, that is awesome. But we've got to make sure that we give our spouses an opportunity to just do some things that they like to do, and it might not have anything to do with any responsibilities for the family whatsoever.
Awesome. Another idea? Mail your spouse a letter. I know. Ooh, no. Don't text.
It's so amazing. Like, for us, one of the things we like to do is at the end of the day we go and we walk all the way out to the mailbox together, but we make that into a walk where we not only are we go ahead and pick up the mail, but we make sure that we walk and spend some time. We kind of, it's like a debriefing moment. We take a stroll around either the block itself, or maybe we'll extend it into our neighborhood. But it's so good and refreshing just to be able to get out of the house, have each other go share in some of the day's activities. But it would be so cool to, as you're going to pick up that mail, that they find a letter from you, something personal in there. It's so important to make sure that we make things personal. We've talked several times about using text messaging, where it can be misconstrued. You might not have the understanding of what was behind it, because you don't have the voice inflections, you don't have the facial gestures, you don't have any of that, and so then it can be taken the wrong way. And I'm sure letters can too, but if you're doing a heartfelt letter, that is so special.
Another idea to consider: find ways to remove your spouse's stress. Perhaps maybe Sundays could be that night where each of you are just kind of like, because you're going into the work schedule for the next day, and so you need to find that special spot just to stop thinking about that and to spend time with each other. Maybe you can do something together, chores, something simple, fold the laundry together.
I know that there are some triggers that can take place in our household that it seems like, whether it's intentional or unintentional, simple things that you can either say or do, or the way you act. And if you can start to actually conscientiously remove those triggers, remove those responses, and ask yourself, is this something that you really want to do, or is this really something that you want to explain later on? Or worse yet, have them shut down, and so now you're trying to make up for something that was avoidable and not really even necessary. Always try to remove those triggers.
Yes, another thing to add with that was, when you're going to bed, is it really necessary to go to bed upset without having it smoothed out? Because we don't know when our day is. So we want to always be cautious of every moment is precious. Every moment counts.
Yes. I think the next one that we really wanted to focus on was the fact of complimenting each other. It sounds so simple, but if you are true in your compliment, when I say true in your compliment, you don't just say, thank you for folding the clothes. Thank you for making dinner. Thank you for picking up the kids. But saying it in a way like you're going through the motions. That isn't going to do any good. Plus, we want to make sure that that compliment is inspiring. It's lifting up. Another thing it said was to blow excitement or blow air into the situation for the definition of inspire. And so when you're trying to lift somebody up, you want to make sure that you say it. Maybe it's important to have eye contact with your spouse when you do it. Maybe it's important that you embrace while you do it. I know that several times we do something simple as just saying thank you for doing the dishes, because it sounds very minute, but when you have a cluttered house, when you have a cluttered area, or you're the person who always does it, that takes away from a lot of the fulfillment, or it's just that peace of mind. And we want to make sure that we're building up one another. And one of those easy ways is just to give a positive compliment.
Yes, breaking down and tearing away those negative self-thoughts. You know, I'm always the one doing this. How come they can't ever do this? Breaking that down and communicating, or saying, Lord, thank you that I even have a toilet to clean. Thank you that we have dishes to wash. Thank you for my spouse, and thank you that our relationship is building and we're learning to communicate better each and every day.
I think another one would be is to give your spouse a simple kiss. And that sounds a little bit silly as well, but it doesn't have to be one of those long or elongated kisses, but it's one of those that is meaningful. It's not the peck on the cheek where you're, again, checking off a box, just going through the motions. But I mean, it's so nice to be greeted and just simply give my wife a kiss, tell her I appreciate her, I'm happy to be home and to see her. It's just, I think it really makes a difference.
Yes. Traveling, whether you have a long travel or a short travel, so important to purposely digress. What's the word?
Digress.
Digress.
Yep. Go backwards.
Make sure. No, I'm talking about when you deflate from
Oh,
the day.
okay.
Yes.
Decompress.
There we go.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Yes, before you get home. So important to do that, so that when you do see your spouse, you can give them that embrace, and you take a deep breath and you let it out together slowly. Oh my goodness. It's just
Rejuvenating.
invigorating. Yes. Thank you very much. Very good. So try these things. It's very important that we do that in our marriages.
We get so engaged in our daily work schedule, and we get into these routines that might end up being mundane, that we sometimes overlook some simple little things like planning a date and then sticking by it. So often we know that we've got to get up in the morning, we've got to get to our job by a certain time, we know the expectations of being at that job or what that entails, and yet we stick so close to that calendar and that schedule that we don't take time to put our spouse on that schedule or our family on that schedule. And worse yet, it's the easiest one to, hey, by the way, I got something that came up, I want to put this off, or can we do it next week? We need to make that a priority. Those dates, those times that we put on the calendar, we look forward to, it has to be more than just words to make somebody else feel better. Hey babe, you know what, I'd love to make sure that we go to your favorite sushi place. Or you know what, I know your friends have been asking, can we just get together and go out one night and just be able to have some of that fellowship time. And then all of a sudden we're going, oh, I'm tired, no, I don't want to do it. Push through it like you would if it's your job.
Yes.
Because that's going to make them feel valued, and that is really important in a relationship.
Very good. Show interest in their hopes, in their desires.
So often I think we get in a situation where the other one will bring up something, they'll have an idea, and I don't know about you, but I've had a terrible habit of having my first response be no. And then I'll think through it, and I literally will almost regret saying that, because all of a sudden I didn't really take time. I was tired. No, I don't want to do it. But then as I'm sitting there, I know that maybe she is feeling like, oh my goodness, I barely even got the sentence out. I got to know. And I'm sitting there going, oh man, you know what? If I would have thought that through a little bit more rather than just responded like with a knee-jerk effect, I would have been better armed with being able to go ahead and actually give her a chance to either continue to say what she was talking about, or just even for myself to think, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should do it. So that's definitely showing interest in their hopes or their desires and listening to what it is that they would like to do is really important.
Ask your spouse if they need help. When would you like me to help you?
Mm-hmm.
How can I be a blessing to you? How can I serve you today? What? Serve? Yeah, how can I serve you today?
And on the flip side of that coin, we don't always have to be the one who thinks they have to take it upon their shoulders and do it all by themselves, because it can come down to a couple reasons. One, we feel like that's our role and we've got to do it because that's what we do. And the second thing is because we're not flexible, we're not open to doing it as a team. And so because I don't want the input from the other side, I want to make sure it's done the way I am comfortable with. That is going to get in the way of being able to grow and possibly do things that are 10 times better than it could be in the first place.
Very good. Don't set expectations too high.
Oh my goodness. I think that has mixed connotations to it, because I think you can also look at it as don't set your expectations too low. Now, expectations can be inspiring. It can be what it takes for your spouse to actually take that step and go maybe outside of the box for themselves or for the family. And so by having expectations, we want to make sure that it's like setting goals. We want to make them attainable, but not always so easy to achieve. Because, if my goal every day is to put socks on, it's not going to be too tough of a goal. And I'm going to be able to achieve it every day. But, go ahead and set it a little higher. Do some things a little bit more that would make you try things that you don't normally do. Maybe it's in your work. Maybe it's actually going out and putting together a business pitch that is to your neighbors or to other people in the community that is going to benefit your business more or benefit your family more. It's things like that that you just need to try. So if you have the expectation set, then you can keep each other accountable.
Avoid overreacting.
Yes, indeed. Overreacting.
Far-fetched ideas sometimes come out of our mouth. Something that we've been thinking about all day, and we shoot it out there, and either the spouse will be like, no, or expound on that.
I think so often when we talk about avoiding overreacting, that can come through in just the tone that's being used. All of a sudden you go and you've got something that you'd like to talk about, and all of a sudden you're getting the grumpy, puckered, I just ate 10 elderberry face look, and it's no sugar added. It's definitely one of those, yes. All of a sudden you're trying to figure out, do I have any moisture in my mouth at all? What is she looking at me like that for?
Oh my God.
We overreact sometimes. And
Yes.
that goes back to like your expectations. We just need to actually big deep breath, think about it, reply rather than get that. I don't know, there was a commercial that used to be the bitter beer face. They would crunch their face all up, and I know it was terrible. And it was one of those things where you're just thinking, oh my goodness, thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk about it.
Now we had one today where I actually went out and I wanted to use up some coupons before the date expired. And so I brought home some shirts that I wanted him to try on. And he saw me and said, honey, honey, honey. And the tags were still on there because I don't take the tags off, because if he doesn't like them, then I can easily take it back. But if we take the tags off, then it's like, right? But I know some of you still take it back. Anyway, so he was like, so he said, honey, honey, honey. I said, just how much did you spend? And then he started adding it up. And I was like, honey, because see, what he didn't know was I used coupons. What he didn't know was what he thought the price was totally what he wasn't expecting. So, having that conversation and just working through it. He didn't walk away. He did try them on, and so this was good communication.
Yes. Communication is always a positive.
Yes.
But the main thing is we want to make sure that we focus on inspiring one another. We want to make sure that we're lifting up our spouse. There are so many different things that we can do and to lift each other up, but also there are some things that we can eliminate or take out that also build our spouse up. And it generally comes down to having open dialogue, open communication, and listening before responding. We thank you so much for being with us today.
Until next time, get connected to go vertical.
Bye-bye.